I'm still an introvert. I'm still shy.
But actually, you're the most warm, open person.
But I don't think people really know me either.
What would you like people to know about you?
Hi, I'm Alex Jones, and I'm in great company.
One Show presenter Alex Jones.
Welcome to The One Show with Alex Jones.
What were you like as a kid?
I was incredibly shy, like painfully shy. You couldn't say out loud in South Wales, I want to be a television presenter. You'd get laughed after the welfare hall. I mean, don't be ridiculous. Absolutely not. The more it went on into my teens, the more frustrated I was feeling. I was like, I've got to get out of here.
Was there a moment where work and career and everything came first? You had kids later in life.
I did. I was a dinosaur. You can't choose when you fall in love with a person that will become the father of your children. He came to me when I was 32. Relationships are never plain sailing.
Never. They never
You
are.
know-
Your husband has dealt with his own mental health issues.
I thought I'd been depressed, but then I saw it and I thought, no, I haven't. I don't know whether I did the right thing. I hadn't understood it. And that's my own failing.
But what advice would you give for people who are around someone who is struggling? Hey guys, welcome back to Great Company. Now, before we start, I just want to ask you one thing that I ask you every single time, which is if you can please subscribe to our channel. Just click that button, it takes 1 second. The reason is it does us so many things we can't even explain. It keeps allowing us to get the guests that we want and you like to watch. It allows us keep delivering on the content and making the show that you like. So if you can do that one thing, I won't ask you anything else. Today's episode is with Alex Jones, and it's going to be mind-blowing for so many different reasons. I can't wait for you to enjoy this. Okay, enjoy this episode of Great Company with Alex Jones. Alex, firstly, thank you for coming on the show.
It's such a pleasure, Jamie.
Oh my God, you kidding me? What?
Honestly, I think you are an extraordinary interviewer.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
It's
that's-
such a gift that you've got.
why? Explain. What do you think makes a good interviewer?
Well, I think somebody who's empathetic,
Okay.
somebody who you are not afraid of just kind of listening. And so many people don't listen. Lots of people have a list of questions and they go, there you are, tick, 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 and they're not listening, but you listen.
Well, you very kindly, you met Jemima, who is sitting across there, who is my wonderful producer, she was the person who said to me, and you mentioned this, when I first started interviewing, I would feel like I had to fill silences with something. And she said, don't be afraid of the silence.
No, it took me ages to learn that, but you have to sometimes because people are just thinking, or they might come with something extra, and the extra bit is kind of the bit that you really want.
So where did you learn? Because you are an exceptional.
I'm not.
You are. Let's get this out of the way. You're an exceptional host. You're an unbelievable interviewer. You are a national treasure. Pretty much there, I reckon. You're there or past it already.
Oh, Jamie.
You are. I'm gonna
it's so kind, but that is just ridiculous because I've just been making it up for the last kind of 20 years.
Really?
Yeah.
But explain that to me, because that's what everyone feels like. I remember when I turned 30 years old, I said this before. I was like, I'm going to turn 30. Someone's going to open a door and they're going to go, come on inside. Here are all the answers. And then I suddenly got to 30 and I was like, wait, everyone's guessing? Where are the
Yeah.
answers?
I think you just make loads of mistakes and then you gradually learn how to do it. And I think, see, I'm still kind of the conscientious girl I was in school in some ways, because when I started out in telly, I would watch things back and I would make little notes. And it's really uncomfortable watching yourself back, isn't it? Like people hate the sound of their own voice. You know, like even if you hear yourself on an answer phone, who the hell has got answer phones?
But I know what
these
you mean.
days?
I know
Do
what
you
you
know
mean.
what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
On the radio or
Yeah.
whatever. And nobody likes the sound of their own voice. And I think you have to push through that to get to the bits that make you look at it and go, oh, it's so awful when I do that. And then you change it. But you've got to confront things face on, I think. And the only way to get better is by listening back to podcasts you may have been a guest on or watching shows back. That's the only way. But I'm kind of self-taught in a way. I don't know. And I'm still learning. I still don't think I'm good at it.
It's like exposure therapy.
Yeah.
It's one of those things which I think is really important. So I used to be scared about walking across 3 drains. Right?
I am. I'm so
Okay.
scared about 3 drains.
Yeah, because I don't know, something's going to happen to my family or the world's going to explode. I don't know what. So what I had to try and do is I had to expose myself to the situation. I had to start walking across 3 drains.
You can do it?
Not really. I had to say toast every single time I do it. Don't know
Why
what-
toast?
I don't know. Someone told me that once. So it used to be spitting, which was not good. So I'd walk across 3 drains and then have to spit. Someone told me that. But then I changed it to be toast. But so I had that thing, and then when I was doing Made in Chelsea and everything, and that was all a bit hectic, I got social anxiety for whatever reason, and so I didn't want to go and have one-on-one lunches because it was too intimate, and so I had to force myself into it to go and expose myself to the situation to realize it wasn't that scary.
Yeah.
And once you start doing that, you're like, okay, it's all right. What times in your life have you had to expose yourself to something that you were like, I just don't want to do it?
Oh, Jamie, I knew you were going to get straight in there. This is the thing about this podcast, right? You have got this knack of kind of unlocking people. I was like, he's not going to unlock me. He's not going to unlock me. The thing is, I think, I'll answer that question in a sec. But I
Are
think
you going to
the
answer
thing is,
truthfully, do you think?
I am, because
Okay.
there's no point doing these things without being truthful. And I'm one of those people, I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. I've
Yeah.
got nothing to hide, but I don't think people really know me either, which is weird, isn't it? Because I've kind of managed to stay on this kind of surface level where people go, there you are, that's that nice girl on that show. And she's just loves to chat with people. People don't really know me. And I thought, here we go. Jamie now is going to get under my skin.
That's interesting, though, because that must be down to you as well, not wanting to show a lot of your personal life and your personal self. Or maybe it is. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I'm really open as a person. Ask
Yeah.
me anything and I'll give you the honest answer. I just think maybe it's kind of, I'm synonymous with a show that's really packed full of content and the guests are kind of the main focus. And I am just there to facilitate the chat. So maybe that's it.
What would you like people to know about you?
Gosh, that's a really good question. You're brilliant at this. God, this is like a therapy session already. And we've only been sat down for literally 4 minutes.
I know. Don't worry, we have light and shade. It
Light
rolls
and shade.
light and shade.
Do you know, it's what my friends know about me, really. I hope I'm an empathetic person. I hope I'm a really good friend. All of those things. I'm not very good at being kind to myself, I think. If somebody says, what's your best quality? I don't know. And it's not because I don't want to be big-headed and say it. I literally don't know. But I know I'm those things, I hope. I can say those things and I know that that's true. I'm a good friend. I'm empathetic. I love a bit of a laugh. And I love life. I'm a happy person. I think that comes across probably in my day-to-day job. But I'm not a big worrier.
No.
I don't have much anxiety, weirdly.
Yeah.
I kind of get on with it, and that's probably the way I've been brought up.
For someone listening right now, right, who is finding it tricky to get into any industry, they're finding it hard, they're feeling like giving up. Maybe it's the TV industry, and they're thinking, I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Maybe they're living in Wales, and thinking, I can never reach that. What advice would you give them?
I think you have to be quite tenacious, but there is always a way. And I'm a big believer in that. And this is what I already have started telling the children. And to be honest, Jamie, it's going nowhere. They're 4, 6 and 8. They don't care. But there's always a way through. And if one door is closed, there's always going to be a fire exit that's slightly ajar.
Always.
Always. And, I wrote so many letters to all these different people. And then it was really hard to find people's email address. But I'd look up the company. I'd spend days looking at companies, going through who work there, finding the person that I needed to connect with, typing out letters, sending pictures, sending a CV, which had bugger all on it. But, and eventually things started unlocking. If it's what you want, you cannot stop.
And you cannot give up.
Cannot stop. You cannot give up. And I think these days, maybe because of social media, I think people tend to think it's easier.
Totally.
Because you can connect easier.
And we've lost our resilience.
But the thing is about that, the sea now is just saturated with people who can get to you quickly. You've got to stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And resilience, as you say, is key.
Who was the first letter you wrote to?
I think it was Children's BBC.
What did it say?
And it said, look, I have no experience, but I'm really willing to learn. And of course, you didn't do a tape then, did you?
No.
You know, now you just get on your phone and you do a tape. And I'd done little bits and pieces, and I'd been a contestant on this on this dating game show, which was filmed in Magaluf. Davina was the host with Julian Clary. And I'd had a little taste of telly, and I thought, this is fun.
What's it called?
This is beyond the mountain. It was called Prickly Heat.
Yeah.
And they were like, I can't remember, something like 40 people between the ages of, say, 19 and 23 in Magaluf. Everybody was having sex with everybody. And it was just really good fun. And we were out there, and it was kind of like, it's a knockout on the beach. And then it was Wales, England, Northern Ireland and Scotland all against each other.
Yeah.
And I just thought, this is excellent. I want to be Davina. And that was the start.
Did you speak? Does Davina remember this? Have you spoken to her?
Oh my God, completely.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you said to me, do you remember Prickly Heat? Because I was.
I mean, we often go, isn't it weird? Because I did my A-levels. Not my A-levels. I did my finals for my degree in Magaluf because I took part in this program, and that's a long story. Like the university were like, absolutely not. You're not doing your finals in Magaluf. And I was like, please let me go and do this. So they flew my papers out, and Davina was the invigilator.
You're lying.
No, that's what happened.
Sorry, hang on a second. Davina was the invigilator for your exam.
Yeah.
So sat in front of you while you were doing the exam.
She was like, 10 minutes left. Come on. Okay, pens down. Yeah. And they filmed it all. So that was the beginning of the madness, you see.
That is wild.
I know. And so then I thought, right, well, I like this. Maybe I can do this. And I used to watch Davina on Street Mate. Oh, back in the day. She was so brilliant,
so
still excellent.
Amazing.
And I have to say about her, at the end of that series, she sent all the girls a little card. It's a Hello Sunshine, Little Miss, like a Hello Sunshine one. And she wrote a lovely message, a personal message, which I still have. And I just thought, we know she's an incredible sort of human, and she's an incredible presenter. But those things go a long way, don't they?
Well, you remember them. We just did our Candy Kittens away day, which is the sweet company that I have. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to get everyone. I was finding a way for everyone to speak about something, right? And I was like, how am I going to get everyone up to say something without them feeling nervous or scared or whatever? So I said, right, I would love everyone to stand up and say one core memory they have with Candy Kittens and one personal thing you've overcome this year. And everyone and it got quite emotional. It was quite amazing. And one person said, I have a core memory, which is where I was having a tricky time leading up to Christmas. And I spoke to someone on the phone and I went, oh, that was me. And she didn't say who it was. So I spoke to someone on the phone and they said, don't worry, it's going to be okay. You've got to take time to yourself. I don't want you to work over Christmas. And on Christmas Day, that person then messaged me asking if I was okay. And it almost makes me like emotional now, thinking about it. And she said, for me, that was such a core memory. And it made me realize that those little things in life, replying to, writing a little note, saying thank you, saying a thank you letter, people remember it. They never forget it. And you getting that little note or those little notes, you just would never forget it.
But it's made me a better person in terms of, because I remember that. So now when young people come into the studio or when we film with them and they ask me to sign something for, I always try and do the best I can because it's a real, it is a memory for people, isn't it?
Totally.
I have that little card still and it's in a box of, just sort of different memories that I keep. And I always go back to that and say, that little card, it meant the world.
So when you were younger, living in Wales, what were you like as a kid?
I was incredibly shy, like painfully shy.
Really?
To the point where my parents thought there's something wrong with her. So they were very much, they had me when they were really young, which I'm so grateful for now. Because
How old are we talking?
So mum was 23, nearly 24 when she
Mhm.
had me, which of course, in this day and age, that is so young, isn't
Yeah.
it? And dad was, I think, 25. And they really didn't know how to parent. I mean, they were kids themselves, really. And they kind of just looked at their parents and used the same tactics, which were, okay, kids should be seen and not heard. So we'd go to people's houses and they were like, be quiet. And I think they say this now. Mum's like, I'm so sorry that I did that, because actually you just shrank and you became smaller and smaller to the point where I was really struggling to speak at all, even in school.
Really?
So I was just, I was so shy, really painfully shy.
And
I still am.
If you think back to then, what were you shy? What were you worried about? What do you think was going to happen if you spoke out?
Oh God, I just couldn't even find my voice at all. Even in assembly or in class, and they'd say, they'd ask a question and I'd know the answer, but there was no way I was going to put my hand up. I mean, the thought
Wow.
of speaking out loud was, terrifying.
Do you remember a moment where you did finally speak out?
Yeah, I mean, I changed when I became sort of 16, 17, found boys.
Yeah.
That helped.
Yeah.
Grew some boobs. That helped.
Yeah.
I was so small. I was like the skinniest and the shortest in my class and the quietest. And then I suppose, puberty happened and everything kind of changed. But really, Jamie, I'm still an introvert. I'm still shy. I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm like a high functioning introvert.
Introvert, extrovert.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is the same. I think I'm an extrovert. I actually get energy from people, and that's when I have to go and do an event or have to do something. Even if I'm exhausted, it feeds me for whatever reason. If I'm around friends, it feeds me. But my wife is the opposite. She actually is introverted, but in an extroverted world. And that was quite difficult for me to understand. I couldn't understand why she didn't want to go and meet all these people or have people around the house the whole time or be the center of attention. She's like, no, I don't want any of that.
Yeah.
I just want to do my work and be this and entertain, have fun and be a kind person, but I don't need that attention. I think I needed all of that because I thought that was going to fill my cup in a way.
I think my husband's like that. He's like, well, let's just get people over. And I'm like, oh my God, here we go. It's just a Sunday though. Can't we just sit here on our own? And he loves people. He loves parties. Even now, if we go anywhere together, I'll be like, you go first. And he's like, this is your job. What are you talking about?
It is, Alex.
But I'll hold his hand and he'll go, all right then. And then he'll walk in, start chatting, and then I'll be okay.
But actually, you're the most warm, open person. And
But I
so
think-
I would say I would say you were like a lantern. Like you're like, people like to come to you and they feel comfortable around you and you draw them in. But actually, you're the opposite side. You're saying, I don't want that. But actually,
I love people. I love friends. I love people who I feel comfortable with. But if you say, oh, do you want to go to this party or this premiere or this? No, thank you. I mean, it's just hell, I think. I'd rather be in the kitchen having a glass of wine with my friends. Really good friends.
So when you're 15, 16, 17, who was the first person you kissed?
His name was Gary.
Okay.
Which, Jamie, I mean, even when I say that out loud, Gary wasn't a name that little boys had, was it?
No.
Who looks at a baby and goes, Gary?
It's
you know what I mean?
I know, but it may be that there are a few Garys out there, Gary Neville and things. So Gary was like maybe a popular name back then.
It was, but then it was still too old for Gary, even then. And I remember he was a lovely boy. He was in primary school with me as well. And he bought me a perfume for Christmas. One of these sets where you had the shower gel and the perfume.
Oh, yeah.
And I just thought, this is it. I love boys. They buy you stuff, make you feel nice and pretty. But it was really funny because I think, when you think, oh, what sort of child was I? Because I knew this question was going to come up. And I was kind of this painfully shy child. But yet I remember using Dad's calculator and pretended it was a phone by my bed. And when I went to bed, I'd pretend I was in a hotel and I'd order room service with this phone that was a calculator. So I think I had ideas of like, I knew there must be more to life. You know, I had these ideas. I mean, I loved watching films, and I just think I was kind of stuck in this kind of little West Walian town. But I always thought, there's more out there than this.
And when
so
you
quietly kind of, I guess, ambitious.
And then when you were thinking that, when you're in, did you, because I spoke to Luke Evans.
Oh,
Lovely.
we love Luke.
Luke Evans is amazing. And he also grew up in sort of a little town, and he realized there was something more out there, but not really understanding how to get to it. And you felt the same way. You knew there was something bigger, there was better out there, because what did you want to do?
Well, I mean...
Because you were a ballet dancer.
Well, I did ballet. I wasn't brilliant at it. It was all right.
Okay.
But I loved performing, which then doesn't go with your personality, and that's really hard. So I wanted to be an actress. I was like desperate to be an actress. I thought that's going to be my ticket out of here. Every day I'd open the curtains and I could see the Black Mountains, right? And the Black Mountains to some people are beautiful, but to me they're dark and foreboding and like overbearing, and it was like it was a wall and I couldn't see past the Black Mountains to what was beyond it. So and I always used to think there's something over there and I want to get there. And I used to, the more it went on into my teens, the more frustrated I was feeling. I was like, I've got to get out of here.
The fact that your parents were so young, you know, having kids now, that is so young. Young. Early 20s to bring up kids. I look back to myself when I was 21, 22, 23, 24. I didn't even know myself, no idea what I was doing.
I mean, I was in a minibus, having been in Ritzy's, and you know, this was 3 a.m, having been for chips with curry sauce, and you know, in a minibus with like 12 other people from the small town where we were that were sharing the cost of, you know, going out to Swansea, which was like the mecca of all things fun at that point. And mum and dad, and I look back now as a parent and I think I'm so in awe of what you did for us, how you navigated us as small children, and them as well, navigating their relationship with 2 young girls. That's so hard. I mean, we struggle now sometimes, and we're both in our 40s, you know, with a lot of sort of hindsight and experience, and they were doing it as really young people. But obviously the payoff is that I'll be in a care home by the time my children are in uni. But, you know, they are young grandparents, you know, and can be really kind of active with our kids. But I think they were amazing.
Are you close to them?
Really close, yeah. Like now I speak to them every day after the show. It's kind of our routine, you know. And mum, she's sort of a no-nonsense woman.
Okay.
And I mean, they don't care who the guest is. They don't care. They're like, yeah, it's a nice show. You didn't have enough blusher on, though. You look quite tired tonight. I mean, that's mum all over.
It's like my mum.
You know?
Your hair looks bad.
Yeah. And then dad, Alan, never gets to actually speak on the phone. He's just in the background. What did you think, Alan? Yeah, Mary. No, you're right. She looked a bit washed out, didn't she? Yeah, a bit washed out. Right. But they very, you know, they're very good at, it's not that they do it on purpose, I say, but, you know, my feet would never leave the ground anyway. I'm not that kind of person, but they definitely wouldn't with them.
Was there a period, because when you move from Wales and you start into this world and into this career and into this sort of limelight and doing different things, was there a moment where, which I had, I think, with my family, is that work and career and everything came first? And so what happens is I kind of didn't forget, but I thought, I'm just going to not speak to my family as much because they weren't as important. And so I was just focused on all these. And I remember my mum saying to me, I never see you. I never speak to you. I don't know who you are anymore. And I remember thinking, well, and there was one point even when she got my face and said, who are you? She couldn't remember who I was because I was so distant.
Jamie, that makes me really sad as a mum now.
I was so distant. Did you ever go through a period of that?
Yeah, I think, you know, the 20s, I think they're like your lost years, aren't they?
Yeah.
And going back to the thing that I was so desperate to get out, I was I didn't really like school, if I'm honest.
Mm.
School to me was just rain, wet, going on buses to places I didn't want to go, being forced to do orchestra, which I hated, and I couldn't even. I mean, I played the violin, but I couldn't follow the music. I just wasn't good enough. So I spent an hour every week in some god awful comprehensive school that wasn't mine in Carmarthen on a Monday in wet weather, miming violin because I didn't know what was going on. I mean, what a waste of time.
Yeah.
And all of this kind of added to the whole pot of, I'm sure there must be something more fun than this. So as soon as I got out of school, and I had good friends, and a lot of school I did like the social aspects, but actually school's a bit like jail, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I mean,
you're especially if you're not into it, you're
got to
forced
get up
into
really early. You've got to wear an outfit you don't like. There's a lot of doing stuff that you don't want to be doing. I get it. It's the system and, that's what we all do. But afterwards, I was just like, this is amazing. But I was so desperate to get going with life and be the adult I'd wanted to be since I was talking into the calculator and pretending it was, the phone to room service, that I think me and mum and dad maybe did lose a bit of connection at that point because I was just like, see you later, I'm off. And I did all these ridiculous jobs.
Like what?
Oh, you can imagine. I signed up to an agency to do promo work. Classic, Jamie. So on a weekend, I would be dressed in 70s gear and my job was to hand out hairspray.
Okay.
And in a shopping centre, and after a couple of hours, I'd take the hairspray and ditch them in a skip around the corner. This was, I mean, I think a lot of people did that sort of job.
But you were hustling. You wanted to earn money. You wanted to get out there. You wanted to become an adult.
And I wanted to be independent. I think we're all very influenced by what we watch on TV. And I guess this was the 90s and it was all kind of Friends, Sex and the City. And I was like, I want one of those flats, one of those apartments. So I just need to work, and then you get frustrated because that apartment's not happening. And you're thinking, what am I doing wrong here? I wrote letters to everybody you can think of in television.
Get out of here.
Oh, yeah, everybody. And I've still got all those replies. And some people did reply.
Wait, hang on a second. So you wanted to get into TV because you thought this is going to be fun. This is going to be exciting. This glamour and this is so glamorous. This is past the mountains. This is exciting. This is fun. So I need to find a way of getting into this. So I'm going to reach out I have to do it myself. Yeah. Because that's amazing that you knew you had to try and do it yourself. There was no one going to do it for you.
Well, look, mum and dad, mum worked in a bank. Dad was kind of a sales exec. They didn't know the first thing about telly. And you couldn't say out loud in South Wales, I want to be a television presenter.
Because people would just be like...
You get laughed after the welfare hall. Don't be ridiculous. Absolutely not. Just because, not that they weren't supportive, but it was too far from... anything anybody could imagine.
What does that do to a young person when something feels so unattainable?
Yeah.
Does that then make you go, well, does that lose that confidence that you should have as a kid? Because as a kid, you want to sort of say, you can do anything, you can achieve anything.
Yeah.
But it feels like because it was so unattainable, family, friends, everyone, you're never going to do that. You're going to work here. You're going to go and work in the school. And I feel like that happened to a lot of a generation.
I think I was really lucky that mum and dad were those people who said, do something you love.
Great.
So mum had lost her mum when she was 16. And mum's an amazing person who could have done anything. But actually, she had to run the house. Her sister had already gone to medical school. Her little brother was 8 years old. And her dad was running his own business. And she had to become essentially the housewife. So she didn't get to do what she wanted. Wow. So she went to work in a bank. She was offered a job as a buyer for House of Fraser. And she was only like 18. And she would have been amazing. She's got impeccable taste. She would have been amazing. But she said, I couldn't do it because it meant being away from home. So I got a job as a cashier in a bank. And then she worked her way up to become manager. And So she said, Al, I didn't have a choice. You've got a choice. Dad and I are here. Do something you love. And I think that was probably the biggest gift that I had, was parents who just went, yeah, go for it.
This episode is very excitingly brought to you by Klarna, your flexible everyday spending partner. Now, as you guys know, I'm always looking for smarter ways to manage my money. It's really important. Now, I've spoken about Klarna before because I think they offer some pretty smart solutions. And guys, once again, they've done it. Klarna is introducing their brand new product, the Klarna Card. Now, with the Klarna Card, you can pay with Klarna everywhere. So you can use the card both online and in stores. Now, it's one card with 2 different ways to pay. The Klarna Card is debit by default, but also lets you pay in 3 when you need it. So you can pay in full for everyday purchases or choose to pay in 3 for those larger purchases. Interest-free, that's the key. It even comes with added benefits like no foreign exchange fees when you're traveling abroad. I hate those. And signing up only takes a few minutes. And you can start using your card straight away in your digital wallet. So sign up now at Klarna.com or download the Klarna app. There we go. You know, one of the big things you've spoken about, which I find, and I'm going to tread carefully here, right? You had kids later in life.
I did. I was a dinosaur.
Well, you
Like
were
a T-Rex giving birth.
You're not a dinosaur in any way whatsoever. But you did have kids in later life. And what I find interesting about that, right, is that as a woman, it feels like if you decide to not have kids, people look, you get a strange reaction. Well, you don't have kids? Well, why wouldn't you want to have kids? Yeah. And so then when you decide to have kids, even though it's later in life, people also go, well, you're having kids later in life. Well, that's a bit... So it's a weird balance.
You can't win.
You can't win.
No, you can't win. The thing is, it just didn't crop up before it cropped up.
Explain that to me.
Makes sense. So, you know, you don't... Okay, you go through life and you might have a plan. You might have sort of a vague idea of, I mean, I remember thinking, oh yeah, by 26, I'll probably have my first child.
Okay.
And then you get to 26, you don't know who you are. You're dating the wrong people.
Who are we dating?
Some people that you may know. But, you know... I mean, in Wales, there was kind of like 3 really handsome boys. So I dated them
Jones.
all. Somebody else with a Jones surname.
Okay.
And actually a lovely boy, you know?
Yeah,
but
I get it.
Like not marriage material, right? And so, and you know, I've got a certain look. You know, I like an eyebrow. I do. I like
you like a dark hair,
exactly, right?
Tall, good looking.
But we were the wrong people, right? And we were having a lot of fun, but it's not time to have a baby.
But did you know that at the time? Because when you're you're in a relationship, sometimes when you're in a relationship and you're in love and it's hectic and chaotic, sometimes you just think, well, maybe this is what every relationship is.
Well,
like.
I was head over heels.
Really?
It wasn't reciprocated.
Okay.
I think that's the nice way of putting it. But I was also having a lot of fun building this career, you know?
And your mum had told you need to build career and do it.
Exactly.
And you realised your mum hadn't done that.
Yes. So I felt, to be independent, and I wanted to be financially independent, I thought I've got a lot of work to do here before I can think about having a family. It kind of just wasn't on my radar at that point. Then you hit 30 and you think, surely at 30 I'll have a child. But then looking back, I mean, I was still a child at 30, you know? We went to New York as a group of girls. I just, you know, it was like Sex and the City dream, you know? And I still wasn't ready. But I was kind of thinking, I need to crack on with this.
But that's what I find interesting is that you're not ready. But for biological reasons and other reasons, if you want women... get to a place where they think, well, I feel like I need to now because this is the moment, which I feel like is a lot of unneeded pressure. It's sort of societal pressure at that age almost.
Yeah. But I think also I'd looked at mum and dad and I still admire their relationship. You know, they recently celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary. They are still
Mary
in
and
love.
Alan.
Mary and Alan.
Let's go.
They are like, you know, they are the rock that holds us all together. And I wanted that and I couldn't find that. And I was like, well, where's my Alan? You know? And also you're kind of still busy building a career. And then I got the job that I still do today on the One Show. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in London now. This is amazing. You know, I wasn't ready to have a husband and children. And the thing is, you can't choose, because you can't choose when you fall in love with a person that will become the father of your children. That person isn't necessarily there for you at 27, at 31. You know, he came to me when I was 32. And then, he won't mind me saying, he's very indecisive. So it took him a while to commit, Jamie. This is the thing. I had no hesitation. We had our first date.
Yeah. Where? Set the scene.
Well, so it's called The Swan.
Okay.
It's a pub in London.
Uh-huh.
And it's where we ended up living for 12 years.
In the
Not
Swan?
in the pub,
Okay.
but on the same road.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So we had our first date there, and I knew by drink number 3, I was like, here he is.
Get out of here.
I knew.
No, but Alex, explain why. What did you feel?
Because when I saw him, and you know what, we'd met in a fancy dress party,
Okay.
right? And
You were dressed as?
a cowboy. And a friend of mine was dating one of his housemates.
Okay.
And she said, come to this house party with me.
Mm-hmm.
So off I went, and there he was, holding court, as he does, in the middle of the kitchen in this ridiculous poncho and hat. And I thought, what a dick. Who is this? Right? Super confident, everything I'm not in a party situation. Yeah. And we had a chat, and I thought, yeah, right, he's handsome. But and there were actually a lot of handsome men in that house party. It was ideal as a single girl.
Uh-huh.
And I came away with a few options. However, a couple of weeks later, I saw him again in my friend's birthday party. And he said, I'm sorry, we didn't really, I didn't introduce myself properly. I'm Charles. Da, da, da. He's very formal. Not really, but he sounded formal. He said, I'm Charles. I've never called him Charles. I call him Charles.
I know. It sounds like
Charles.
it would be a good idea to say, hi, I'm
Do you know
Charles.
what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
And he said, would you like to go for dinner? And I said, all right then.
Okay.
And so we didn't go for dinner. In fact, we never ate on our sort of early dates. I don't think we ate for the first 20 dates.
Because you just go and have drinks together.
Because we just had so much fun. But on this first date, I saw him from a distance and I thought, God, he's so handsome. And he knew me immediately. I sat down, and up until that point, I'd never been 100% myself. I'd always kind of said what I thought I should say in order for them to like me.
You.
There was always a bit of myself, but not entirely myself. And he just went, that's not the right answer.
He made
That's
you
not
feel
what you
so
mean.
comfortable.
What do you really mean? And I said, And he just knew. He has got a big bullshit filter.
Wow.
Yeah. And he just knew, and he didn't care about what I did. He had his own thing going on. He loved traveling. He was this confident person. And I was excited to be with him, and I still am, and I just knew he's the one. And now he says, shit, why didn't we get married sooner? Because, the conclusion would have been the same.
Because he was indecisive, that's why.
He was indecisive.
Yeah.
And of course, actually, he's from Auckland, and even though his parents are English, so technically
he's English.
He's
but
English.
He's English.
And he'd been here for a long time, but he was due to go back because he was like, okay, I need to start settling down.
Yeah.
And I'm going back. And then we met, and I think it was kind of a bit of a spanner in the works for him. But eventually he relented, and in Morocco he proposed. And yeah, I mean, you know what it's like. Relationships are never plain sailing.
Never. They never are.
And it wouldn't be fun if they were. You need a bit of push and pull sometimes, I think, in a relationship. But he's my life partner, but he didn't come to me until I was 32. And then the indecisiveness. And then we ended up having our first child when I was 38. But I wouldn't change it.
No.
It's just how life happened, And by then, I felt secure in my job. I mean, obviously, I still absolutely had a meltdown when I went off for maternity, thinking, oh, shit.
Did you really?
Of course.
Because you thought someone was going to take it.
I love my job and I really respect it and I appreciate it and I'm grateful for it. And I thought, oh my God, they're going to get somebody in and that'll be it. I'll never be seen again. It was a hard thing to step away.
Wow.
And I was
because
only
you worried you were going to be forgotten?
Yes, and replaced, you know. I mean, I still feel replaceable all the time, even though, bless them, they go to great lengths all the time to say, but you're not.
You're not replaceable.
But I always feel like I have to be on top of it and, you know, bring A game all the time.
That's a good thing, though, at the same time.
I think it is.
Because if you start treading water in any job that you do, then that's when you kind of start to become lazy. You need to leave. And the fact that you're constantly doing that and that almost fear of being replaced keeps you driving forward and becoming a better version of you as a presenter the whole time.
And I think that's the thing. People ask, why are you still there? And I'm like, well, I'm not bored. I still feel like I need to prove myself. And you only need to leave when you feel like you're done.
15 years.
I know.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is amazing.
It is amazing. And, you know, I've grown up in front of our audience. I mean, literally from being in a bloody cowboy costume at 32, you know, looking for a husband in house parties in kind of West London, to becoming a wife, to becoming a mum. They've seen it all.
The one thing I do want to talk about is we have a lot of people on the show who speak about their mental health, and it's about anxiety and depression and what they've been through. And a lot of the time, we often don't have people who talk about supporting people with mental health. And you very bravely and openly, and I know it's his story and his thing, so I don't know how much you want to share, but your husband has dealt with his own mental health issues. How have you found that experience as someone who's trying to support someone in that position?
I think, you know, when I was growing up, and we've talked about mum and dad, amazing people, but there wasn't a lot of understanding about mental health. And when you look back at your own life, there are periods where you can see that you would have been going through something, you know? The attitude in our house very much has been, get on with it. You know, that's kind of,
get on with it.
Get on with it.
Don't talk about it, move on.
Yeah, move on. It's just a bad day, move on. But there've been periods now where I can look back, kind of mid-20s, early 30s, and sometimes triggered by a breakup, sometimes triggered by disappointment at work, where there's been quite a dark period.
You felt depressed?
And I don't know. I don't want to say depressed because I've seen it in other people and I feel like my disposition is quite happy. And I'm quite good at dealing with things internally and moving on and moving through it. And I think some people aren't lucky and they can't do that, you know?
I know.
And I think sometimes the truth of it is, you have to sometimes witness it close up to really understand what depression is.
Because when it gets a grip on them,
you know,
it's a lot.
I think a lot of people say, oh, I feel a bit depressed. And it's difficult because a lot of people really do. But I didn't understand it. And I can only speak from my perspective. I thought I'd been depressed. But then I saw it and I thought, no, I haven't.
That is really profound, Alex, because I think a lot of us feel like we are depressed or anxious, but we can keep doing lots of different things. And at work, I feel a bit depressed. There's that. When you truly see it, when you see someone who is really suffering, you go, wow, no, that is it.
And, you know, I mean, I've seen it in friends. I've seen it in work colleagues. And so my relationship with how I perceive depression has changed a lot because, you know, I love listening to lots of different podcasts. And of course, it's brought up a lot, isn't it? And anxiety and all the rest of it. And I think we have to be really careful about making light of it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I think when people are able to be on a podcast and talk about it. If they're talking about it in hindsight, that's okay. But
Agreed.
in the present moment, I find that hard because actually, if you've seen it in action, you know that there's no way that somebody can get themselves together to get in a cab, to get to a recording studio and be comfortable to talk about it on a podcast. I don't know. So I've got a very odd relationship with it. I've seen it and now I feel like I understand it.
When you're seeing it and you're experiencing it, by the way, Alex, I'm in total agreement with you. When someone is in that darkness, they can't get themselves out of it and they can't do anything.
No.
But what advice would you give for people who are around someone who is struggling?
Gosh, I mean, that's hard because I don't know whether I did the right thing. But I think all you can do is, see, people say don't judge, but we all judge. We're always judging. We are judging constantly, but you have to let go of judgment at that point. Completely. And I found it really hard. I had to bite my tongue so hard from saying, come on, but
just come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Yeah,
I know.
Let's go for a walk. Come on. Oh my God, I was doing it so wrong.
I know. It's so hard.
And
I have family member. I have a family member who was experiencing it. I just said, come on. Let's get it. Come on, let's go. I couldn't.
You know, and I said to a friend, come on, we can go. Let's go for a drink. Come on, let's go for a drink. Have a chat. Don't be so ridiculous. This person could not get out of bed, let alone put some clothes on and go for a drink. You know, I hadn't understood it. And that's my own failing.
Yeah, and it's not your failing. No, it's not understanding. It's very hard to understand what someone else is going through. What happens is also, I think, when it's in that situation, when someone is so close to you, it almost feeds into you as well. And so then what happens is their emotions become your emotions, and you start to mirror them. And that's not helpful as well.
No.
And then it becomes hard.
And
you didn't run away. And a lot of people, but Alex, a lot of people in experiences like that would run away. And that means so much. The fact that you stood there, that you helped, that you were there as the solid the whole time, that speaks 1,000 words.
But I think the thing is, though, you know also, we all know that, I mean, for me anyway, I mean, I'd never run because we've made a deal. And we don't run from each other. You know, we face it all head on.
Love that.
And we have faced a lot of fun stuff, and we'll face really hard stuff. And, you know, this will be life. That is life, you know, it's up and down. But I don't run. We're not a family of runners. We stick and we dig in and we do it. But I think the other thing is, if you know that person, you know it's an illness.
Yes.
It's not them.
Yes.
You know, and I've been blessed to have kind of a pretty sunny disposition, really. You know, yeah, okay, there are bad days, but I really love life. Like, I love life. I love the mundane shit about life. Like, happy. And not everybody's like that. But you know, it's also, it can be a phase, you know, everything is a phase. Life is a bloody phase.
This too shall pass.
You know, this too shall pass. And it does. But you just got to dig in for that time.
And that is exactly, and one foot in front of the other. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Don't give up. Keep going.
I still don't know. If I saw it again in a family member, a friend, I still don't know whether I'd do the right thing. But I now understand it better than I did. You know, I was kind of in mum and dad's mentality of, right, come on, can we move this on? This is, you know,
and that's really,
and it's not that.
But it's so honest and beautiful that you sort of recognize that in a way. And actually, you're just, I think sometimes also that is quite good advice. Okay, we're going to get through this. You've got to help yourself. We got to go. And it is a disease and it is illness. But that support and constant returning factor, we've got to get through this. Pushes people to a sort of more positive place sometimes. Yeah,
and I think, you know, with our experience, I mean, Charlie's great now, and it was kind of it was quite fleeting, really, you know. Again, blown up by the press, you know, of course. But it was definitely a taste of something that I hadn't seen before, and changed my perception. And it just made me think of all the people that are paralyzed by it, you know, all the time, and can't get out of it. And I think sometimes we all make light of it a little bit and talk about it and think, oh, we're talking about it, so there we are, it's fine, we're talking about it. I had a good chat about anxiety, and I'm like, oh really? It's you know, they're paralyzed by it.
And you've experienced
a horrible illness.
Do you feel in your career, in your time, 15 years on the One Show and doing all the stuff
Yes.
you're doing, do you still feel like it's just beginning? I'm just starting.
Oh my God, 100%.
Isn't that amazing?
I'm so excited by life. Like, I prefer being in my 40s than any other decade
Apparently
so
it's the
far.
best decade.
Well, so far, so good.
Okay, good.
Because I understand who I am. I didn't know who I was. I was trying to please other people all the time. And now I know what my job is. First of all, mum of 3. That like fills a lot of my time, and I like being busy. So that suits my personality.
Yeah.
I know what my job is on the show, and I still love it and still really respect it and try hard at it.
Yeah.
And I want to be a good wife, and I want to be a good friend, and I want to be a good daughter. And really, then you're kind of at capacity.
Yeah.
You're busy then. And I love being busy, but it's busy with all the good stuff, you know? I mean, there'll be times in the show, like when Michael Bublé said to me, right, come on, Alex, come and sing this one with me. And I love Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
But Jamie, I didn't love Michael Bublé enough, because in the moment I was like, shit, I don't know the verse. I only know the chorus. So I was doing like
what was it? Was it Home or something like that? Yeah.
And I was doing like club singing next to him, and this was live on television. I was like, fuck, this is awful. But you know, and there'd be moments like that. But that's all the fun.
It's amazing.
That's like the tapestry of life. You know, sometimes I'll be like with the kids in the morning, and they'll be really, I mean, you're about to experience all this. It's amazing, right?
Oh.
It's amazing. But it's hard as hell.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, this is like an endurance test. What is going on? Like, I've told this story before, but I took my middle son to IKEA, and he threw a wok down the escalator, right? And I don't know whether you've ever heard a wok go down an escalator, but fuck, it's loud, right? And I was there, and all these people are like, her kids are out of control.
Yeah, and they judge you.
They judge, right?
Look at
They
that
judge.
terrible parent.
And I'm like, Kit. And then the next minute you're in the One Show, and then you've got like, you know,
Just amazing.
a sofa of people that you're like, wow. I mean, you know, but I'm sort of not starstruck as well. And I think you can't be starstruck to do the job.
No,
I'm just interested
in people.
and I like a conversation.
Yeah.
But then, you know, so you'll go from that in the morning to like a sofa full of people, and then, you know, but then home to do mundane stuff, you know, empty the dishwasher, get the school bags ready. I like the variety.
You like that busyness
and the busyness,
and being useful, being a mum, being your, the presenter you are, being that is what life is. Yeah. Can I ask you something about the One Show?
Yeah.
And you probably you can dance around it and move away, but it has been a revolving door of presenters.
It has,
and more recently there's been a bit of a there was a sort of issue that came up with one of the presenters being supposedly inappropriate.
Yeah.
As a presenter, as a colleague, as probably a friend, how do you handle that?
So I think it's good to talk about these things as well.
100%
because,
it is.
You know, it was a situation where, and I'll tell you the honest truth from my perspective.
And this is with Jermaine Jenas.
It is. And JJ and I had become good friends. He'd started presenting, and I didn't know him at all. I don't know anything, I'm sorry to say, about football. And I actually asked him, so have you ever played professionally? I mean, imagine. Poor boy.
Jermaine Jenas, okay.
Yeah. And he was so polite, and he went, oh, you know, I've done a bit. I was like, oh, so like, you know, like what? And he went, oh, I played for Spurs. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, no. England? Oh, no. But he was very nice about it. But on this particular occasion, I was the last to know, I think.
Wow.
I mean, we didn't know. So the team had no idea. We'd been off on a summer break, and this had all been done and dusted by the time we came back. And I thought he was taking extended holiday. So I was like, where's JJ? And they were like, oh, he's going to take an extra week. Nobody really knew. And actually the BBC dealt with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if people feel uncomfortable, they have to deal with it.
100%. I agree with you. 100%.
If it was my daughter, Jamie, and I mean, Annie's only just turned 4, but if it was my daughter and she was at work in whatever industry and she felt uncomfortable, I would hope to God that I'd given her the tools to be able to speak up. And if she was brave enough to speak up, because it is a brave thing to do, I would hope that that company, corporation, whoever, would deal with it. And that's what happened. And I think that is the only way forward these days.
As you put that amazingly well, and it's true, and it has to be like that, because I think, and especially in the world of television, where we've seen it numerous times where people have a lot of weight in the industry because they bring in views or they bring in audiences, and it hasn't really been dealt with, and perhaps people have been inappropriate or said the wrong thing or behaved the wrong way, and it's kind of been swept under the carpet because, well, they bring in the audience, they do this, they do that, and actually people have to be held accountable. They have to be.
I think it's right. I mean, I've always had to behave appropriately. I mean, not that I would never not behave appropriately, but you know what I mean? It comes with responsibility. Like, if you are a public figure, which we all are to all intents and purposes, if you're in a position to influence at all, if you've been given a platform, your responsibility is to be careful with that platform.
100%.
And I think it's that clear cut.
And this is but growing up in that television world and being in the time, and everyone's always behaved respectfully towards you, and everyone's been great towards you, and that's an amazing experience then.
I mean, I can't, lots of journalists
have always tried
in the wake of this, I've asked, have you ever had experiences that are uncomfortable? I mean, if you go back to kind of the 90s, early 2000s, there were stuff and there were ways that things were said that weren't great. But nothing has stuck with me. Amazing. Nothing makes me shudder. Nothing,
and that's important.
It's really important. And I know the type of girl I was then, and I wouldn't have handled it, I mean, I was green, I was really naive. And I think it would have had a really profound effect on me. So I was lucky not to have had that. And you were
driven, and it's one of those things that if you were worried that your job would be
on the line,
you wouldn't have said anything.
No, I wouldn't have.
No, and do you know what? Even being, I cannot even position myself in that, but just knowing my mentality and thinking maybe if I was a woman in that position, I wouldn't have said anything.
No. I know I definitely wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And so I've got a lot of respect for the girls that did.
Yeah.
Because I think it is an incredibly brave thing to do.
Really brave, because it's very scary when you're in that position. Honestly, Julie, I'm such a fan of yours. Like, I truly am. Like, watching the One Show and growing up and doing 15 years is just incredible. And I really appreciate giving your time to come on here. We like to end the podcast with quick fire 8 questions. You ready for this?
Yeah.
What's a saying or phrase that makes you smile or cheers you up?
Oh, God. Right. So bear with, okay? But I was thinking about this, and I think, so they're 2 Welsh ones, right?
Yeah.
So one is dros ben llestri, which when translated, it literally means over the dishes. And it means when somebody's gone too far. The other one is Senni daten, which is I wouldn't shock a potato. Like, they make no sense, Jamie, but they make me really smile because they are so ridiculous. So,
and it's home.
It's home.
Best compliment anyone's ever given you?
Without a doubt, my 6-year-old son said the other night, we were off to the National Television Awards, which to me is like hell on earth. And he said, Mama, you look so pretty. And nobody could say it for the rest of my life. But the fact that Kit said it, that will stick with me forever. Yeah.
That's amazing.
He's a lovely little boy, even though
He
he's got
throws
a tendency
even
to
though he's
throw
throwing woks down
Yeah.
escalated. What scares you most about yourself?
Oh, I think it's this constant need to be moving and doing things.
Yeah, but it's a good thing.
I mean, I cannot watch a television program.
Yeah.
I'll have to be doing something else on the side.
Yeah.
Drives my husband mad.
Yeah, but it drives you forward. It's a good thing. When was the last time you cried?
I think it was a week ago when my 4-year-old started school. Oh, Jamie, you'd be ready for it. I fell apart. I was good. I managed to get her in through the door. And the minute I turned my back, it was like my world just caved in. It was the last one going to school. And we sat in the car. Oh my gosh, it makes me cry now. Charlie and I sat in the car and we just, I mean, he wasn't sobbing quite like me, but he did definitely have a tear in his eye. And he said, Al, we've got time now. We can go and have a walk and a coffee together, which of course is lovely, but it's my last baby. I know. I'm so jealous of you starting.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I can't, I love being a parent. It's absolutely the best.
It's because you have. I promise you, you have so much love to give, and you can feel it coming from you.
Oh, I mean, those three. Honestly, I'm already having anxiety about them being bigger. So I look at them in the night, right, and I'll be looking at them, and I'm like, I think Kit's grown. Shit. Charlie, I think he's grown. And he's like, it's a good thing, Al. It means we're feeding them the right food. They moving through life as they go. Oh, I don't want them to move through life. I want them to stay with me. Yeah.
What's something you can't let go of?
Oh, so much stuff. I mean, I'm not a hoarder. My husband is a hoarder. Terrible. Do you know we've got his uncle's dog blanket in the loft? That's disgusting. Dog blanket?
His uncle's
dog blanket. That's awful. So I'm not that level. But things I can't let go of are, I could never get rid of any photographs. Because they just so, I think, I don't have printed out photographs anymore, but the ones I have kind of the 90s, I really want to keep hold of them. The other things I can't get rid of are the children's baby clothes. I mean, you'd have to fight me to the death for them. No charity
and
shop
you're not a
is
hoarder.
having them.
And you're not a hoarder.
But I'm not a hoarder.
Okay,
but
sure.
some things
All
I
right.
can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Oh, so many. Love is Blind currently.
So good.
Love is Blind UK.
So good.
That is the programme that I don't have to do anything else, that I can watch.
It's so good.
It's won me over.
It's so good. What turns you off?
Oh, rude people.
Yeah.
People with a chip on their shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to be here, leave.
What turns you on?
Oh, I love people that want to have a good conversation and go, forget the surfacey stuff, want to go deep.
So agree. What do you like most about yourself?
Oh,
come on.
See, this goes back to the beginning.
Go. I know.
I like that I'm easily pleased in terms of it doesn't have to be fancy holidays, fancy hotels. I am happy with the people I love doing something super boring. Like if I'm on a Sunday making an apple crumble, and I am not Mary Berry, right? I'm a shit cook. But if I'm making an apple crumble with the kids in the kitchen and they are fighting with their little wooden swords, for me, that is perfect. It would give other people a headache, but that's where I feel happiest.
Bonus one. Teach me a Welsh swear word. And make it rude.
I was going to say fuck off, but obviously that's just English. Okay. This is good. So, the word for a jellyfish in Welsh is contamor. Say contamor.
Contamor.
Okay. That means cunt of the sea.
Alex James, you're amazing. We love you to bits. Thank you so much. Alex, you're amazing. That was so good. I'm going to give you a hug.
Oh, God.
That was beyond.
I loved it.
Firstly, I want to say a big thank you to Alex Jones for coming on the episode. It was just incredible. And thank you so much for watching Great Company. So many things that I took from this. One of the big learnings that I understood is that we talk a lot about mental health, which is such a good thing, being open, being vulnerable, talking about how we're feeling. But a lot of the time that we talk about the people who are affected by mental health, but sometimes we don't talk about the parents or the siblings or the friends or the wives or the husbands who are also affected, those partners who are also living with it because their partners are suffering. And Alex Jones is one of those incredible people that was very open about her husband's depression. It was incredible to understand that and really reminded me that sometimes we also have to reach out to the partners of people who are potentially suffering. Alex, thank you so much for coming on. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this episode. You can go and check out other interviews on our channel. And we hope you enjoy those too. And of course, we're going to see you next week for another episode of Great Company.